Do you eat when you're stressed? Do you eat when you're bored? Some people it's the sweets, some people it's overeating in general. This is not about you and the carbs. This is not about you and the donuts, you and the overeating, you and the late night snacking. It's not about that anymore. But what does that mean and why? If we find out why are we doing this? Ask yourself the next time you're doing that, is it really necessary to do that? And the weight will just melt off. I'm telling you, it is incredible.
And you've talked about the body also. And every week on the Dr. Janine or Dr. Janine show, we also talk about the spirit, the mind, body, and spirit. And that brings us to one of my favorite parts of the program every week, and that's the Dr. Janine truth. When it comes to weight loss,
Yes.
What is it today?
So the Dr. Janine truth about weight loss is to really delve into for yourself what is making you feel so heavy? Why are you holding on to this extra weight? And I'm not just talking about the physical weight, so the extra 5, 10, 50, 100 pounds that you're holding on to. What is weighing you down? Is it mental, emotional stress? Is it, some of the negative things that have happened in your life? Is it a past trauma? What are these negative things that are weighing you down? And what can you do to let them go? Sometimes it's as simple as saying, you know what, I don't need you, bad thought or whatever you are anymore, I'm gonna let you go. And once you mindfully let these things go, then you'll see that the weight just naturally starts to drift off because your cravings disappear, you no longer need the emotional eating. It's really remarkable, and that's why I think weight loss really always has to entail this mind-body-spirit connection, and you've got to tackle it, yes, from the diet, yes, from the mental, and yes, from the spiritual as well.
This makes so much sense. Even as you were saying it, I could feel emotion within myself. Just learning about, you know what, we all have that something that we need to let go.
Yes.
And when it comes to weight loss, it's not just about what's on the plate, I guess.
Oh, that's such a great analogy. It's so true, Norm. It's so much more, and food is meant to be pleasurable. Don't get me wrong. Food, I love food, but it's knowing how to use food as even a spiritual exercise in when you're eating, that you're taking this in. And a lot of people, certainly a lot of cultures, they pray before they have their meal because they know that the food is just such a blessing to be able to have a meal.
Sure.
And for some people, yes, we take it for granted that we
Yes.
have, full access to food.
Right.
I'm looking
True.
at this because we're getting into this in just a second.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, so we have our access to food here, but in other countries and in different seasons, different parts of the world, there's not always that that you're readily having access to good quality food. So we have to be very grateful for that.
Something else you've talked about a lot in the last couple of weeks, and remember, you can always look at past episodes online on YouTube. Remember to follow Dr. Janine, of course, on Instagram at Dr. Janine, DoctorJanine. And that reminds me to remind you to leave your questions and comments in the comments section below. Dr. Janine is online to answer your questions during the show. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell so you can get notifications of the next shows coming up. But one thing we've talked about a lot are chakras.
Yes.
So we're going to do that again this week, right?
Yes, so for the third chakra, so the third chakra is right here. So I want everybody to put their hand on their third chakra, and this is the chakra of self-esteem.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a coincidence, I think, that a lot of people who have a lot of digestive issues and issues with belly fat, it happens to be right in the third chakra. And if you think about losing weight, when we've got issues with, trying to lose weight and being overweight, certainly that can have a negative effect on our self-esteem. So it's sort of ironic, but not, that this third chakra area has a lot to do with our self-esteem. So when we have good self-esteem, then maybe we don't have to turn to food and some of these things, and gain extra weight when everything is balanced here. So I'm going to share now, I have a fantastic essential oil. So grapefruit oil smells fantastic, and the oil itself, so when you smell it, helps to curb your appetite.
Yeah.
So smell that.
Ooh, I like that.
And it's very fresh, so just smelling it on your own. So some people say to use the grapefruit oil, smell it just before mealtime, and you may eat a little bit less, so that's fantastic. But what we're going to do is we're going to put it on our third chakra. So all you do is you take a few drops. So whether it's in this form,
thank you. Okay.
or if you have certainly the essential oils with the dropper bottle, just a few drops on your finger, and you're going to rub it right over your abdomen, so in the third chakra. And I'll go right under my shirt. There we go. And you're just going to rub that on. And what a great way now to not only help with suppressing the appetite, but it really helps to open up the third chakra. The third chakra is the energy center. So if people aren't familiar with the chakras, there's 7 of them. Some people say 8, but the third chakra being all about self-esteem. So, and really thinking about that. So as you're doing this, maybe you're also meditating, okay, how am I feeling about myself? How is my self-esteem? And open up that chakra. And it's amazing how things can really start to turn around and you start to manifest different things and more healthy things in your life when your third chakra is open.
It makes sense, even as we're just sitting here doing this now, rubbing it on, I do feel like there's some sort of something happening, like a connection of some sort of an awakening a little bit.
Fantastic.
It's interesting. It's really interesting. You should try it yourself and you'll see. But I'm also wondering, and that reminds me to remind you to leave your questions and comments in the comments section below. Dr. Janine is online to answer your questions during the show. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell so you can get notifications of the next shows coming up.